Hi everyone, Dr. Hall here with you, and we're going to talk about some male reproductive system abnormalities for this lecture. So the first part we're going to talk about are some chromosomal differences and developmental differences. So let's go into chromosomal first. And so the only chromosomal abnormality I want you to be aware of for the male reproductive system is the case of the XX male. This is the case that we talked about previously when we were doing fetal sexual development and we talked about the intersex conditions. So you'll recall this is someone who has two X chromosomes, but for some reason there's an SRY gene stuck on one of them. So because there's an SRY gene present, that means that the undifferentiated gonads will become testes at about week 7. And so they will produce testosterone and MIS, which will cause the entire reproductive system to develop as male. So they're virtually indistinguishable from an XY male, except for those other genes that are usually on the Y chromosome, because they only got the SRY gene. So you might recall that the other genes from the Y chromosome would be the ones that tend to make your hands, feet, and teeth slightly larger, and also the genes for making sperm or spermatogenesis. So XX males are virtually indistinguishable from XY males, with the exception of often being slightly shorter or having smaller hands, feet, and teeth, and they usually are unable to produce sperm. So that's that condition. So this is a review, so that's nice, not something new. This is the slide with all that information on it if you need to pause the video and add to your notes. Now we're going to move into problems of development, where the chromosomes are the way we would typically expect and the hormones are the way we would typically expect, but something kind of physically or mechanically didn't quite go the way that we would expect. So the first condition is called hypospadias. Hypo means underneath. I have no idea what spadias means. Glands of the penis, perhaps. Because in this condition, what happens is the urethra, instead of coming out the tip of the glans penis, right, on the top, actually opens out on the underside of the penis. So we can see in this example shown here in the picture, I'm going to circle, that's their urethral opening there. It should be up here, or it normally is up there. This is a relatively mild example of hypospadia. Sometimes it can be even farther down on the penile shaft, on that under surface, right? And this can happen because if you remember, that underside of the penis forms, the corpus spongiosum forms from those two genital folds that had to fuse together. And so we can see in the image at the bottom how here is, right, so here's a genital fold on one side, you can see the other one on the other side. You can see how they kind of zip up and seal up that undersurface of the penis. So sometimes it doesn't go all of the way, right? So sometimes it's almost like that middle drawing there along that process, and you have an opening that is on the underside of the penis instead of on the tip. So what would make this happen? To a large extent, we don't really know. However, one of the things that's interesting is that it is seen in individuals who have been exposed to certain types of pesticides. And we know that certain types of pesticides can act like xenoestrogens, right? Can act more like estrogen. And it's kind of interesting to think about because, of course, the female pattern of development is that the urethra does not come out and open at the tip of what developed from the genital tubercle, right? It doesn't open out of the clitoris. You don't pee out of the clitoris. It's below, right? It's underneath. So this is almost, somewhere in between that male and female pattern of development in terms of where the urethra ends up. So it's interesting that perhaps endocrine disrupting compounds like xenoestrogens might be part of the reason why this happens. So again, this is that same information in case you need to augment your notes. A lot of times, so the treatment for this, if it's severe enough that it's causing problems for someone, then they might do some surgery to kind of reroute the urethra. But if it's really mild, they might just leave it alone. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is crypt orchidism. So orchid comes from the Greek and it means testicle. I don't know why it's also the name of the flower, but so orchid means testicle, and crypt it means like cryptic, as in hidden. So this is an undescended testicle. So you remember that the gonads initially formed up in the posterior abdomen near your kidneys, and then the testicles got pulled down by the gubernaculum, that fibromuscular cord that pulled the testicles down out of the abdomen in through where what's called the inguinal canal and down into the scrotum. And you'll recall that happened later in fetal development, close to the time of birth or in the first few months after birth. But sometimes the testicle doesn't come down at all, right? So in this diagram here, we see sometimes they're in the low abdomen, sometimes they're in the canal, sometimes they just made it into the scrotum, but they're not all the way down. So let me show you a picture. Okay, so on the left here, we can see an image of a sexually mature male, so an adult male. And let me grab the pen, and I'm not sure if you can see, but right here, there's a little bulge. And that bulge is actually his other testicles. You can see the scrotum on his left side, which is on the right side of the picture, looks fairly empty. There's only one testicle in the scrotum, and that's on his right side. And the other testicle, his left testicle, is way up in the abdomen there. So this is crypt orchidism, or undescended testicle. So the next picture that I'm going to show you is a little bit gory. So if you don't like those images, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I'll tell you when it's safe again. Because this picture is from surgery, where they're now going to move that testicle back down into the scrotum and secure it in place. So what we're about to see is they've made an incision over that skin where the testicle is, so that then they can kind of push it down where it's supposed to go. So close your eyes now if you don't want to see. Right, so we can see they've kind of opened the skin so you can see the testicle, and you can also see the epididymis. So the testicle, of course, is here, and then you can see here that little kind of C-shaped epididymis kind of curved along it. It's kind of also upside down in this particular image. All right, and then they'll push that down through into the scrotum and then secure it in place. Okay, so you can look now. All right, so this again is that information for your notes, and it also has information about, what causes this. And a lot of it we just don't know. It just seems to happen. Maybe it's just bad luck. Certainly more common in premature infants, which makes sense. This is something that happens very late in the pregnancy. If the mother of the baby had been a smoker or drank a lot of alcohol, and again, pesticide exposure. So again, if you think about it, the female pattern of development is you leave your gonads up in the belly. You don't pull them down into the labia majora, right? You leave them up in the belly. Risks to this, right? So you'll recall that the whole reason for scrotum in the first place was to keep the testicles cool, because optimal temperature for making sperm is maybe about 93 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the testicle is up in the belly, it's just not going to be able to make sperm. So you've lost basically half your sperm production capacity, and so that can be associated with infertility. It also sometimes can increase your risk for testicular cancer to have the testicles up in the abdomen like that, so they'll usually do surgery for this condition. Here's just one of many articles. This one's old. It's more than 20 years old now, looking again at pesticide exposure and incidence of crypt orchidism, undescended testicles, as well as hypospadias, that urethra on the undersurface. Final condition we're going to talk about in this section is inguinal hernia. So that inguinal canal is that path through which the testicles took when they moved out of the abdomen and down into the scrotum. Normally, that kind of canal seals off, except for the structures in the spermatic cord, right? So the vas deferens, the tympaniform plexus of veins, the testicular artery and nerve, right? So those things can come through, but then it kind of closes up so that nothing else can come down. Well, sometimes it doesn't quite close up enough. And so then other things from the abdomen, like your intestines, can actually fall down into that space and down into the scrotum. So what we're seeing in the photograph here is an infant with a quite severe inguinal hernia. You can see this kind of bulging, and the scrotum is really distended. And so in the diagram, you can see kind of a description of what's happening here. So there's actually loops of intestine that are getting down into the scrotum where obviously they don't belong. That can be a problem because it can be uncomfortable, but also they can kind of get stuck or trapped there, or food could kind of get trapped there. So this is something that needs to be corrected, and it will be treated with surgery. How did we do? Oh, I didn't talk about the causes, right? So again, we don't know. If it runs in the family, it's more common. And certainly it's usually something that's present at birth and will be oftentimes repaired in infancy. So if you're ever told that you had a hernia surgery as a baby and you're a male-bodied person, this is probably the surgery that you had. This was probably the type of hernia that you had. It can develop later in life with a lot of strain on that area. So a lot of weightlifting or straining, heavy lifting. If you develop a lung disease where you're just having a really forceful cough for years and years and years, right, that can kind of break down that barrier and things can start to slip down into the scrotum. But most commonly, this is something that's present at birth or congenital, and then it is surgically repaired. All right, so this is a quick one. So we talked about chromosomal abnormalities, specifically the XX male, and then some developmental conditions, hypospadias, where the urethra opens on the underside of the penis, crypt orchidism, or undescended testicle, and then inguinal hernia, where sometimes intestines or other things from the abdominal cavity can leak or hang down, protrude down into the scrotum. All right.